So I'm going to be looking at Trinity the whole time, okay? By the way. Hi, welcome to our first Periscope training here from Fanair Cosmetics. So this is where all the training goes, and we wanted to take you inside Fanair Cosmetics training to see what's going on in here, and especially when we do our live training, we wanted to connect with our users and show you exactly what's going on. So today I'll be demonstrating a actual live sculpting. So Trinity here, my wonderful model, has allowed me to use her hands to do 2 sculpting demos. Our first sculpting demo will be made with color effects, azure, and vinyl polish. For the second, it's a date. So just to show you the difference between using both colors, the textures, and what's the end result really, because a lot of the users are asking what is the real difference between a vinyl and a color effects. So here you'll be able to see and practically feel the difference. So let's get started. So we're going to start by pushing our cuticle back.
You guys are welcome to ask questions at any time. I'll animate and I'll read the question out loud so that Karen can then answer any technical questions you guys have.
Oh, and I'd like to say a nice hello to everyone that's in the Caribbean today. I know a lot of you are signing in for this training. This was specially made for all of you guys. Okay. So basically I'm just pushing back the skin, removing that kind of like invisible skin that's kind of growing over her nail. Okay, I'm going to take your other hand. I'm going to be working on both hands so that we don't have to stop for curing. Today we're going to be using a UV light, a 36 watt UV lamp, which is our fusion lamp right here. I'm going to start that on for you guys. And basically I'm just going to leave this light on for the whole duration of the manicure, because just simply because you have in the back you have on and off, and you also have a timer. But because it's a 30-second cure between all coats, it's not even worth putting the timer on. The time I'm done one hand, it's time for the other hand to go underneath. So I'm going to be using either a wet block or a file that is 180 grid, depending on what your preference is. I know a lot of new users like the block because it's just basically easier. It's also smoother for the customer. Personally, I like the 180 file because it gets into all those little creases. So let's file that nail down. So we're going to file the nail down, allowing for better adhesion. We're going to remove 5% of her nail. So it's a very, very, very light file. We don't want to overfile, but we want to make sure that we get those sides, because the side areas here are often the areas that are left out. And as beginners, that's often the area that's neglected because they're hard to get to. Trinity's nails, she has a very nice, easy nail bed to get at. So, you know, it's fairly easy to get into those side areas. But someone, for example, that has a nail like mine, where it can actually go really deep, that's why I really like using that file, because it can really get in there. The block, being a big sponge, just can't seem to get in there. So we're going to wipe that down here with the brush it, and this is just basically Scott towel that we've cut up into cubes. Alcohol 99% to dehydrate the nail bed. And this will allow us to see if there's any areas that we might have left out. And what I'm looking for here is shine. So I'm twisting her nail around to see if there's any shine that would be left, and that would indicate that I did not file the area down. Alright, so let's move on to our second finger. This time I'm going to use the block for those block lovers. Same thing basically. So notice I'm not going back and forth, but I'm always filing the same direction. And I'm always filing outwards and not inwards because I'm restricted by my body. So outwards. And for the sides, I'm going to pinch her skin and I'm just going to go right down in there. There we go. So a little bit of brushing. And again, the 99% alcohol, which I still have on my wet piece of Scott towel. All right, so now the nail is prepped. So if I was doing anything else, I could be doing a natural nail enhancement, I could be doing semi-permanence, I could be doing sculpting, tip application. There's so many different things that we can do with the Gelous products. Today I'm going to be talking about the sculpting because this is really interesting. This is where we can make magic happen. So in order to sculpt her nails, I will be needing to file down her natural nail. I'm going to file down those edges, those square edges that are going to allow me to place my sticker in a better position. If I keep those square edges, it's very hard to insert that sticker underneath her nail bed. So again, using the 180 file, I'm going to just round off her nail. This is the same thing if I was to use a tip application. I'd also want to do that. It's a lot easier to get that tip on there once those corners are filed down. So why would I sculpt nails versus a tip application? What is really the difference? Well, I often tell my customers and my students that when you're sculpting nails versus a tip, it's really like buying a shoe that's been tailor-made, fitted to your foot. So it's complete comfort. Also, if the customer breaks just part of her nail, instead of having to cut all her nail down, I could just sculpt back that area that's missing. So that's really great. It's also great for toenails because a lot of customers tend to eat away at their nails on the corner, especially that big toenail. So it's great to just sculpt that right back. All right, so first product that's going to be used is called the Flexi Gel, which is really our bonding base. This is what really creates the adhesion. It has a light pinkish look to it, and the fluidity is quite nice. It's very liquidy, so we need very little of it. All right, so my brush, just for you guys to know, is a number 6. I like working with a number 6 because it gets a lot of product on real fast. And I never really clean this brush. I just wipe it down and put it away in a dark area, and you can keep it for a very long time. So what we're going to do here is just basically dip the gel and turn. And what this allows is to have gel on one side of the brush, and the other side of the brush is gel free. And what this allows me is to apply product, and then when I lose control of the product and I need to grab it back, I flip it to the side where there's no gel, and it acts as an eraser. Okay, so let's go. So we're going to drop the product right in the middle of the nail. It's a bit like icing when you do a cake. You want to put the icing right in the middle so then you have lots of ease and time to get that icing all over. So notice how I flipped the brush. Now I'm going to use the side with less gel, allowing me to have better precision and control. Okay, so what we're looking for here is a nice shiny finish. That's what we're really looking for. So when we know that we have a glossy finish like this, we know that we've applied just the right amount of gel. All right, we're gonna put that hand right underneath the UV lamp, and we're gonna go for a 30-second cure. And I also wanted to let you guys know that usually in a salon context, I would be doing all 4 nails on one shot, not one nail at a time. All right, let's get that second finger. Now on this brush, I still have enough gel to go ahead and do her second finger. So instead of having to re-dip all the time. I want to also leave at the back. I don't know if you guys can see this, how close Nikki can get this close up. But I want you to pay attention to this back cuticle area here. Notice how I did not touch that skin. I'm staying away from it because skin secretes oil and prevents adhesion. Therefore, we want to stay as far as possible from this area. So all around here, I have about the size of a toothpick. Okay, thank you very much, Nikki. So we're going to go inside the lamp right now. So, again, using the Scott towel, I will be wiping down my brush to remove all excess products since I will be switching. I'm moving on now to the Sculpt X, which is the sculpting product. This is the product we use to sculpt and extend the nail. It's a thicker, more consistent gel. It also has a glass kind of finishing to it. It has a little blue tint also to help prevent yellowing. All right. Sculpting paper. Sculpting paper, this is where it happens. How you put this sticker on will determine how well you will perform. So if you can get this part down, the rest is going to be really easy for you. Because this is what tells you what kind of shape your nail is going to have, right? This is the plateau, the extension, where we're going to drop the product on top and then we will remove it. So if my plateau is looking upwards or downwards, that's the shape my nail will have. So it's very important that I get this sticker on properly. So what we want to do is just cut it up here to enable both sides to open up. And we want to give it a round shape because her nail, her C curve is round. All right, so just like this. And we're just going to go right underneath there. And we don't want to push it too far. We just, look how I just touched it. Let's do this again. Look, just like that. And then I slide my thumbs and I come and pinch the front. Sometimes when you pinch the front, you have to be careful. You really want to pinch the front and not squash this area here, because then you will damage that beautiful C curve that you've created with the sticker. All right, or should I say sculpting paper. Okay, so here it goes. So we're going to scoop up quite a big quantity of product on my brush. So you can see here, I've got the gel, no gel, gel, no gel. It's back here. And we're going to drop it right down here in the middle. Part of it is touching her natural nail, and most of it is on the sticker. I'm gliding to one side and up and down, and then back to the other side, up and down. And this up and down motion is really to create the link. All right, in we go. We don't have much time to apply the product as it will run if we take too much time. In this part here, I've noticed that I've applied the products in 2 steps. The first step is the extension, the tip, and the second part will be to connect both pieces together, her nail bed and the tip that I have just sculpted. So again, it will be a 30-second cure. So here we go, second time. Again, the secret is in the paper. Let's work it round. And let's just go right underneath there. Here you go. It helps if your customer keeps her hand up like this, and also if she doesn't try to help you, because she's just trying to help you, she's not helping you. Okay. And by the way, you can feel a light burning sensation underneath the lamp as the product cures, and this is normal. So Trinity, you were very nice. She was suffering quietly for all you guys. So here's that paper. Here it is. And notice how it also has sizes. Small, medium, and large. So let's go get another scoop of that gel. Again, gel on one side, no gel on the other side. And we want to drop it in the middle and then slowly just bring that product to the other side, up and down, and then back to the other side. All right. So in we go. So again, if you guys have any questions, Nikki's here to help us answer these questions. So here I'm wiping my brush, not because I'm changing product, it's just that I'm getting away from the fat brush syndrome. So what is fat brush syndrome? Fat brush syndrome is when your brush gets very fat and it has no more control, no more precision, so you just gotta put it on a diet. So here we're going. This is the second application of Sculpt X, which is gonna link the tip to the nail bed. All right? So what we want to do is we want to get a coat on there. Just one coat, nice, not too thick. You need to cover the nail bed, and the extended tip. Notice here, you might have not seen what happened, but what just happened is that I made sure I didn't overlap the Flexi Gel. So I went down just a little bit, creating like a second step, if you like, so that products are not accumulated one layer over another and I can get thickness at the back. I don't know if you can actually see it because it's clear on clear, but the Flexi layer is right over here and my sculpting layer really starts here, right? Okay, so let's go to...
Karen, can you explain what that thin layer of sculpting gel that you just put on the nail is for?
Yes, so this thin layer is to link the tip part that I've just sculpted and the nail bed. And it has a double function. This is the double function. I'm going to be applying a drop of Sculpt X on the stress zone, right? And if I didn't have that first layer down, it wouldn't just slide into there. Notice how it's just falling into place. Look how it's just placing itself. It's self-leveling. All right, we can go inside and cure. So that layer allows me to drop that large quantity of Sculpt X and just let it self-level. If I didn't have that, it wouldn't move. It would just stay there. Okay, so let's do this one without the sculpting paper. Maybe this will, guys, will give you a better view. So here it is again. Now I'm putting on that thin layer, right? And again, I'm being careful not to go over the sculpting, the Flexi Gel. Okay, so I got that first layer, and that's when I'm going to drop in the stress zone. So it allows for a better aesthetics, right? A curvier nail is also a stronger nail. And at this point here, we're just filling up all the areas, and I can look at this nail from different sides. All right, it's nice. Let's go put that in there. Again, the customer can feel some heat because we are building her nail at this point. So here we go. I'm going to remove the sculpting paper. And this is what it looks like, guys. So here it is. Don't worry about this little edge here. That's going to file down like that. So now what we're going to ask Trinity to do is to put her hand inside the lamp, but upside down so that it cures properly underneath that sculpting paper. All right, so the other hand should be ready. Did you cure this one underneath also? No? Okay, so we'll go for that. I'm just going to prepare a little piece of Scotch towel here with alcohol. I'm going to wipe all these down and I'm going to shape. And I'm going to shape using a 100-100 grid because this is the part where there's probably going to be the most filing. Okay, that's done. So you can imagine if I'm doing a full set, how I never stop, right? Because as one hand is curing, I'm applying on the other hand. That's why I don't put the timer either, because timers, you have to remember to reset them, start the machine again. It's just a bother. And it uses more electricity also to stop and go, and can also wear down your machine's lifespan. Okay, so let's just file this down. Now notice how the Sculpt X files down so beautifully. It's just like glass. And that's really nice when you're shaping, because you want something that files down easily. So now we're going to file the surface down. Make sure there's no bumps, holes.
If anyone has any questions on what you've seen so far, make sure you let us know.
By the way, we are going to try to do this for you guys on a regular basis. We have these trainings every first Monday of the month for users that actually come to visit us at Fanair Cosmetics. So we are going to be doing this on a regular basis, which is probably going to be every month for sure. And there's about 6 different types of training that we can give you. We also wanted to use the Periscope tool as a tool for you to see the inside of Fanair Cosmetics. what happens behind the scene? What happens? How do we get this in your hands? So that's pretty exciting. We don't have an official date for that, but we're hoping to take you guys to a lot of fun places. Nikki here, she's the head of research at Fanair Cosmetics, and she's working right now with McGill University on all sorts of cool new things. And we thought it would be very interesting to actually bring you guys to the university and to see what are all the new products that they're working over there. They're working on. We will be advertising the dates on our social medias of the next training.
Our social medias, you can follow us on Twitter. We have Facebook and Instagram. Our user is the official Gelous.
So right now, for some of you that are not aware, we do have a special promotion going on where you could have ordered some free Gelous samples to try. So some of you guys out there, I know, have gotten the samples. Good for you if you guys got a heads up on that and are probably using the products right now as we speak. So if you want to be able to do some live demos exactly with us at the same time so that you get the same feeling, we could arrange for that to be possible. So all you have to do is call Fanair Cosmetics to get your free samples. You do have to pay for shipping though. All right, so now I've shaped it down nice. I gave her a nice square shape. Maybe I should go for a little rounder look, because if I look at her cuticle, it's more rounded out and it would just naturally fit better with her nails. So let's do that.
Your Nails Natural Plus is asking for a sample. We can definitely get you one. If you could please send us an email or phone call, give us a phone call, we'd be able to set that up. So you could reach us at, if you're in the Canada or in the US, 1-800-659-1794. If not, our local number is 514-666-6645, and you'll want to do extension 224 for customer service, and Terry will be glad to get you any samples.
Oh, and by the way, I'm also technical support. So if you have any questions regarding anything you've seen here, we do have a tech line, which is the same phone number. So for the toll-free is 1-800-659-1794, and my extension is 226. So if you have any technical questions regarding everything that we've done today, I'll be glad to help you. And my name is Karen Taylor once again. All right, so now we're going to shape the second nail. So look at that. It took me took me a total of 5 seconds just to give it that shape. So the Sculpt X is a gel that does not soak off. And the reason being for it not being a soak off is we don't want it to be affected by any chemicals, and not the sun either. We don't want this product to change over time. And unfortunately soak offs are porous products, and they tend to soak up all sorts of chemicals, and also they change with the sun. They tend to yellow. So this is why you want to be using a product, especially on the end of the technique, that is not a soak off. The flexible layer that we put before actually is a soak off layer, but it's protected by this sculpting layer. Also, you want to be filing down something that's kind of glass shaped like structure, because you could just file it down so much better and give it that great shape. And this is a very natural feeling for the customer. She won't feel like there's anything put on. She won't feel like she's got a tip glued on. This is really an extension of herself. If you get quite good at this and you're pretty fast, you can sculpt this nail in one step. So instead of doing the 2 steps like I've showed previously, we would sculpt it all in one step. Maybe that would be a good training sessions for you girls that are maybe a little bit used to sculpting. Maybe if you get this technique down, then I can show you some faster skills. Because time is very important when you're a nail tech. The more customers you can get in, the more money you're making. Alright, so both these nails have been filed down and are ready to go. One of the reasons why I'm using this little block to file down at the end is that I want to make sure that I'm applying the color on a smooth surface. If I used a very hard grid, like a 100 for example, it would make these kind of grooves and the color would just seep in there and just follow it. So I wouldn't control my color as well.
OSG Nail is asking, Karen, how long for a full sculpted set?
How long does it take for the application?
Yes.
Well, when you get really good at it, it's the sticker part that's really the tricky part. So when you're really good at applying stickers, it's just as long as putting tips on. So within an hour and 10 minutes, your customers should be out the door. And we are talking about a single color here, and I often get asked these questions, and no, it does not include design, because when you start getting into designs, there's no such thing as time. All right, so it's a date vinyl polish. They need to be shook to get all those pigments in there. I want to show you maybe, oh, we don't have our, we do have a shaker back here usually, but I guess they took it out for their...
We wanted to clean it up for you guys. It was a little cluttered in here.
She took my shaker! So I guess I'm the shaker today. So we really want to get this, these pigments stirred up. So let's see the real difference between the vinyls and the color effects. So we're going to look at this texture here, right? It's a very nice texture. Very, very, very nice texture. Some of these gels that you've seen on the market are very runny and they're not very covering. But this Gelous final one is a 2-coat and it's got a really nice texture to it. Then you've got our color effects. This is the color Azure. You also need to stir these ones. Very rich, very creamy. So what is the difference? Come on, Karen, tell us, you're killing us. So basically the difference is the textures. The color effects are a lot creamier looking. They're more covering. They have less shrinkage. Now what is shrinkage? Shrinkage is basically when you're curing the product, a lot of its solvents tend to evaporate and tend to be released from the gel. So therefore they shrink. It's a bit like when you're cooking a steak or something. It was like such a big hamburger and then it got out of that pan and it's so small now. What happened? So it's basically the same thing. So color effects will have very little shrinkage, and it's a date. Vinyl polish has more shrinkage. All right. So now that both of these have been mixed.
So Karen, on what customers would you use vinyl polish versus color effects?
Okay, very interesting question. So a vinyl polish I use on a customer that would want a full color application. This is great for that. If I have a customer that wants to have just a tip application, or she wants to have multiple colors, color blocking, then I would go with a color effects. Because color effects give you more control. Therefore you can do things like a French manicure, for example, where you really want to get that French line put on nice and straight. That's when you would use a color effects. But personally, I tend to like the color effects a little more than the vinyls, just because I like that control. A lot of our customers like the easy use of the vinyls because it's already integrated into the bottle. So I think it's just a matter of preference. Cost-wise, also there is a cost difference. The color effects are more costly than the vinyls. I don't want to speak of pricing because I don't know from what country you guys are from and in what kind of dollars we're talking about. Okay, so here it goes. Again, color on one side, nothing on the other side. So let's drop that color down.
We'd love to hear where you guys are from. We're filming this in Montreal, where we make all of our products here in Canada. If there's anybody from outside of Canada, give us a shout out. Let us know.
I know there's a few people from New Brunswick today that was supposed to tune in. I think we also have people from Ontario also.
Hey, Juliana.
So, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to apply some color at the tip of the nail because I want to have a nice even color all the way. So when I look at her tip, it's exactly the same color as her nail. So we're going to go for a 30-second cure in there. Okay, let's do the vinyl on the other hand. I just love the name of this color. It's a date. Such a princessy color also, has nice little sparkles.
Natalie is asking if we're going to be at the Spa Esthétique show in Montreal in September.
Ooh, very good question. Okay, we're going to put that inside the UV lamp. Actually, we don't know. We don't really have an answer right now. We are looking to see if some of our distributors are going to hop in with us on this. So maybe we will be, but if we are, it's going to be a very last minute organization. We are also moving our locations in October for the 1st of October. So we have a lot on our plate. So we don't know yet, but if we do, we'll let you guys know. All right, second coat for that azure, right?
We did just come back from the Cosmoprof show in Las Vegas, and that was an extreme amount of work and preparation. We still haven't gotten rested yet from that.
The Montreal show is very local. Last year we attended the Montreal trade show, and I think we had something like 48 hours to prepare.
To build a booth.
Yes, it was a really last minute thing. But we made it, and it looked great. And that was thanks to one of our distributors that allowed us to participate with them.
Natalie says, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
No comments. I don't know you guys that well.
That's another video.
All right, I'm going to take that azure. I'm going to think maybe I'm going to put maybe a third coat on there because I think I was a little light on the, I think I was showing you guys too much precision. There we go. Okay, that's good.
In the Gelous lines with our colors, our rule is if it takes more than 2 coats, we don't market it. No one has time to put on 3 coats, so you can be sure that when you buy a color, you never have to apply more than 2.
Alright, so I'm cleaning my brush down, and now we're going to finish with our nail armor. Our nail armor is a product that came out, I think it was in 2014. So this is a protective layer that's going to seal in all the product. It's resistant to chemicals, UV rays, it's abrasive resistant also. So it's really a great product to finish with. It's great for hairdressers that tend to work with a lot of chemicals. It's got a nice glass finish to it, and it comes in this great brush-on bottle. It is a very rigid product. It acts like glass. So if you are applying this product on a very soft surface, for example, if you're doing semi-permanents with our technique, our Gelous products, the semi-permanents are a 2-week wear, and they're very soft product. So if you apply this on top of a very soft product, you will get cracking. So this is made to go onto hard techniques such as sculpted nails, natural nail enhancements, acrylic, resins, and must I go on. Tip application also.
OSG Nail's asking, what your preference is for a square brush. You noted that your brush is square, not round.
Okay. Very good question. We just basically work with square brushes. Why? It's just better for the French manicure. We didn't see a French manicure application today, but we tend to apply our product very different from a lot of American brands. It's just a straight-on brush-on. So if I had a rounded brush, that wouldn't work. That's why I have to use this straight-cut brush. But I guess you could also use a rounded-off brush. You would just have a harder time when it comes to the French manicure.
For a full color set, a rounded brush would probably give a little bit easier application. So you might be seeing a rounded brush in the Gelous family in the near future.
Okay, so I'm applying the nail armor. I'm going to seal off that tip. And the reason why I'm sealing the tip is not because of adhesion, but it's really because I put color all the way in the front of her nail, and I want to make sure that it's being sealed properly. Because if I don't seal the color, I will get staining. I will get transfer. And what is that? Transfer is basically when you touch things that are staining. For example, jeans, like a new pair of jeans, or if you're in contact with a lot of maybe newspaper, money, anything that could be really dirty. I got a little piece of hair here or something. So we want to make sure that that color is sealed. So we're going to seal that tip to prevent from getting transfer.
Your Nails Natural Plus is asking, how healthy is the product for use on a natural nail?
How healthy the product is? We don't have a health claim. It's not really our position, but there's nothing wrong with using these products. We are Health Canada approved and FDA approved also. The most harm you're really doing is when you buff off that 5% layer at the beginning. That's the real damage that's being done to your nail. The products are not dangerous for your nails, and they won't harm your nails. So that's another reason why at Gelous we believe in refills. So we won't do a soaking and then filing again and then soaking. We're just basically going to refill at the back. So the natural nail will get filed once and once only. So you only want to remove 5% throughout the whole lifespan of your customer coming to see you.
A lot of techniques also have acid-based primers that help the adherence. So what they do is they kind of eat through the surface of the natural nail and make really small holes in it, which essentially cause great adherence, but damage the natural nail. So our flexible Flexi Gel is really a UV gel. It isn't an acid primer, so that whole eating through the natural nail doesn't occur. It does have its own self-adhering properties that are our caramel secret, but they ends up not damaging the natural nail like acid-based primers would.
I also wanted to let you guys know that the nail armor is a 2-minute cure. This is very important. 2 minutes for the last coat so that you really get that ultimate shine. So every coat was basically a 30-second cure. We're very fast in UV, except for the nail armor because it's the last finishing coat. The longer it cures, the shinier it gets. So I did put that timer on. And I'm going to be using 99% alcohol to wipe down the surface again to remove the tacky residue. The light, did it finish? Yeah. Okay. Seemed to be fast. No? Right, so let's...
You sped it up for TV. Like those people who cook turkeys in 10 minutes.
It's done. Voila! All right. So we've wiped that down, and then we're just going to finish with a nice cuticle oil like here, right there. The nail armor can have sometimes a kind of a powdery white surface that will appear once you've wiped it down. You say, oh my God, that's not shiny. But really, when you wipe it down after it comes off, it's just a little light powder. If you wash your hands, it'll go away. If you put cuticle oil, it'll go away. But don't be surprised if you see that. All right. There we go. So here we go. Here's the azure. I'm just going to remove the little edges. Sometimes it can, the product. There we go. All right. And so here's Romeo and here's Juliet.
I'm going to have Trinity come over here into the window in the natural light and we'll get a better angle and a better view. So can I see it better here? So I'll try and give you guys a... So if you guys can see, it is quite thin. It's not a thick nail. And it looks very natural.
I also wanted to tell you guys, I wanted to know how was the live feeding for you, because I know that at night sometimes on Periscope you can have a hard time with the live feed. This is why we do it. We do this in the day. So if you had any problems, difficulty seeing the images being clear, or having it just basically kick you out in the middle of a session, so let us know about that feedback, and also let us know what's the next training. What do you guys want to see next? What can we show you? Refills. We can do also some nail art. We can do also semi-permanent application, tip applications. We can see all different types of things. Semi-permanents also. These are all techniques that we do give in our classes. We also have what's called a mixed class. The mixed class is basically we have 4 users and they come in with all of these questions. So this might be interesting for you guys to assist an actual live training. Most of our trainings here are done in French though. But it would be maybe interesting for you guys to see, what are the questions that most Gelous users have in regards to the product. What are the problem shooting is often an issue that we see that the girls like to see and deal with. So let us know what you guys want to see, and thank you for being part of this training with us today, and I hope to see you guys soon. Thank you.
So Mode 500 wants to know, is it always only one Flexi Gel layer? She previously thought it might have been 2.
Yes, it used to be 2 in our applications for beginners, because when you file down that sculpt layer, if you overfile, you will file through the Flexi layer, because you notice how when I first applied the product, let me do this little drawing for you. I always do this in a class to help you understand. Better. We're sorry, somebody's phone is ringing. All right, so this is my nail. I'm sorry, I'm a very bad drawer, very, very bad. Okay, so this would represent the first layer of Flexi, right? So notice how we're going to leave the distance of the head of a toothpick right here and all the way around where there's skin, right? All this area here, because again, it secretes oil and will prevent adhesion. So we got that down. The rest of the area is 100% covered. Then when we come with the sculpting layer, the sculpting layer is not going to go as far. It's going to stop right here. Same thing on the sides. It won't go as far. And the reason being is because you don't want product accumulation here. But the second reason is Sculpt X has 0 adherence to the natural nail. So if you went ahead and you covered over the Flexi layer, this will be all lift. This will lift completely. So knowing that you apply the product, the Sculpt X, to this zone here, when you tend to file down all the bumps and the imperfections, you want to smooth these 2 layers in one another. And if you over smooth it down, you'll actually file right through this flexi layer back here. And then when you come to apply your other layers of products, you'll get lifting at the back. So we used to put 2 layers of flexi, and therefore you'd have a bigger buffer if you filed down the first layer of the flexi at the back. You actually had a second layer to prevent from going through it. So that's why we always tell beginners to go with 2 flexi layers. But if you know what you're doing and you understand this principle back here, you can go with 1 flexi layer. I'm sorry, that was a very long question for me to answer. But it's important that you get the logic behind it and why things happen. And the reason why we apply the products the way we do is really important to understand, because once you get that logic behind the product, no matter what happens, you could always bring yourself back.
Okay, so if anyone does have any questions, you can reach us again. I'm going to give you our technical number. It's 514-666-6645 for anybody outside of Canada and the U.S. Inside of Canada and the U.S., we have a toll-free number, 1-800-659-1794. If you do extension 224, you get customer service and you can get some free samples. And if you do extension 226, well, you get to talk to Karen and she answers any problems that you're having. And don't forget, you guys can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the official Gelous. You can reach us there, questions there as well. So I hope you guys really enjoyed it today. And we'll be doing another one very soon, and we'll bring you into our behind the scenes of Fanair Cosmetics, and you guys can learn a little more about us.
Bye!
Thank you, Trinity.
Bye-bye. So I got